Hey, this is Max Alper, aka Parrotsky, and you are listening to Group Critique Fight Club. Getting back into the deep homie. I don't know where he is now. Boris Brunecki, where are you in the world? You're off social media and I respect you for it, but we weren't close enough to have any connections off of social media. But this project, Ontal, O-N-T-A-L, from Boris Brunecki, I don't know if you're still based in New York or if you're back in Europe, but some of the heaviest industrial, hard techno and rhythmic noise, super ahead of their fucking time. A lot of this shit coming out in the mid 2010s, early 2010s. Really lovely. The one time I saw you spin, really lovely intersection of like very harsh noise and like deeply groovy rhythms. So anyways, that was Ontal. That was your lobby music for today. Welcome. Group Critique, Fight Club, Monday night editions. Couple housekeeping things. First and foremost, anybody in the tri-state area, got my my monthly series at Reason and Ruckus in Poughkeepsie on Thursday. We got Ka Baird, Kieran McElwain, Acceptor, awesome lifer noise band Acceptor, who are also my neighbors here in PK, and Matt Weston coming up from Albany, Troy area, fantastic composer and percussionist, all playing Reason and Ruckus this Thursday, 7 p.m. Group Critique Fight Clubs presents the in-person show platform that I've been doing monthly with that. And then Saturday, we got the Poughkeepsie Cistern all-day fucking marathon that I am the artist wrangler logistics person for. So it's going to be fucking crazy. But biggest fucking cistern water tank on the East Coast. 15 plus seconds of reverb time in this really crazy, massive underground chamber. I've booked an amazing lineup of some really awesome artists curated. We got Raven Chacon, friend of the show, Raven Chacon, Leah Bertucci, Chris Williams, fantastic trumpet player, Michael Bahari, amazing guitarist and composer, Booker Stardrum, I'll Do Something, it'll be cool, as well as a bunch of people who did the open call. There's a lot of people in the community who live nearby who are also going to be performing throughout. Everybody's getting like a 15-minute set. I'm going to make sure we stick to that. But yeah, really interesting set of artists, eclectic mix, taking full advantage and activating the verb in this amazing space. So if anybody in the tri-state area, Hudson Valley, Western Massachusetts, Southern New England area, Southwestern New England, come through. I rarely say, specifically the cistern thing, I rarely say that these things are not to be missed, but truly this shit is not to be missed because it's not just an open venue. We don't know when the next public activation is going to be. Trust me, I'm a part of it. I'm the boy. I'm the weird music guy officially in Poughkeepsie now. Building out some wild shit in the valley. Shout outs to everybody holding it down in PK. But yeah, come through if you're around on Saturday. It'll be fucking sick. Okay. We got your music. Oh, first and foremost, shout outs once again to our presenters, Tape Trade. for holding us down and supporting the show, providing some lovely infrastructure. They got some updates this month. I can't say too much, but they got some new perks coming to those who utilize the platform for sharing private files, playlists, press kits, the digital dub plates of sorts. Really lovely service, lossless in-browser and app file sharing that doesn't suck your data and is run by a nice crew of like-minded people who are doing it for the right reasons. So stay tuned for some specific updates related to our friends at Tape Trade. Who's at my door? Who at my door right now? Oh, it's my package. Hell yeah, my package here. The missus got it. Okay, we also have our monthly project. I don't know if did we go over the monthly project for this month last week? I do not recall. I think we did, right? Yeah, back to basics. Wendy Eisenberg. Get to that on the Discord. Bread and butter. Write a melody. Write a harmony. Simple as that, or is it? Check the Discord for the monthly project prompt. That again is due on May 25th, Monday, May 25th. So last Monday of the month. Get it in. Gonna be a fun one. Wendy's fantastic. They have a new record came out last month, self-titled, Wendy Eisenberg, series of really amazing songs. That's why I wanted them on, because a lot of their pop or singer-songwriter stuff is so simple and so effective at the same time, and clever, like finding little ways to subvert the form of singing and playing the guitar. And they do both quite well, but even without necessarily showing off too much, very, very effective craftsman, Wendy Eisenberg. So stoked to have them on. It's going to be great. So get in on that project by May 25th, Monday, May 25th, 7 p.m. Cool. I think that's it for housekeeping. We can get on with the show, on with the music. We got ourselves some new ones coming in today, starting with someone who I'm pretending like I don't know. Vildava, William T. Davis, Vildava, no. It's my friend Dan, a.k.a. Vildava, whom we are going on tour together in June. You could see us in Philly, Richmond, Charlotte, Nashville, Cincinnati, Detroit, and Pittsburgh, second week of June, doing a little Rust Belt circuit there. Come on down if you're in any of those places. But Vildava has a new record that seems like they just finished, and we're gonna listen to what is seemingly the final master. You never say final, but okay, it says master 2. It doesn't actually say final, so that's always a tell with the file name. Always cursed to do it over when you write final on there, but maybe this is it. They didn't do that. All right, opening title track. It's the final. Okay, all right, it's the final. Hell yeah. Opening title track from the EP, which I believe is titled Death Content. Yes, very nice. Miles of Grey by Vildava. Let's check it out. All right. I know it transitions into the next track smoothly there, but it cut it off at the end of track 1. Good stuff. Good stuff. Second time I've heard that now. Second time today. I am, I've seen this project blossom over the last 3 or 4 years or so into what it is now, which is a just full-fledged industrial slash EBM slash nearly power electronics. Daniel, the second half of this is my favorite half because we just, once like the blast beats come in, it's like, even though the bass, the grinding buzzsaw bass is still there, like we just completely disregard tonality. It's not power electronics in like a harsh noise way. It's more like, it's like early Health, like the self-titled Health album, where it's like it's almost minus the fact that it's made with electronic instruments, which gives it its own more industrial, like true to form industrial rhythmic noise sort of attribution here. It's reminded me of Health because it's reminded me of like John Zornian sort of composition, at least at its most extreme here in segments. The disregard for tonality to just like laying into a barrage of electronic percussion, like electronic blast beats. The notes are gone. I think that's great. I think that's a really cool move that I was not expecting the first time. Having heard this piece before live, I don't know, maybe I just recall the bass still being there, and like feeling it in the subs and stuff like that. But this is truly like, it's like Boredoms, dude. This is like drum weight room music, like this is allowing the drums to get swole for the final 90 seconds, 2 minutes of this track. It's a really good choice as a first track. It kind of covers all the bases because it gets more heavy but also melodic as the record progresses, but like it starts relatively tame by comparison to that, like as far as your vocal timbre, your vocal delivery, maintaining a kind of obvious groove. I was saying it's like dembo, like ba 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 ba, like it's a pretty accessible first half, and then you kind of just flip it and remind us that we're in this deeply, bleak topic, but like pit of darkness and disregarding of tonality and melody. And then it's also the time when you start screaming, which shout outs to JD, wonderful mix all around. Like this is the type of thing that's like pushing air. This really sounds hella saturated, an attenuated level of saturation that our good friend JD, Group Critique regular themselves sometimes, who also produced my record last year. Fantastic mix, really brings this to life. And now as a performer, you have to like use this as reference to like, I know you don't have that much like off-board mixing stuff. You're just using a mixer on stage, but like, heavy gain stage and quiet volume, like saturate what you can on stage as well. Like, let's make this live set as dirty as the album as best you can, because I think that's going to be the major takeaway here, is that this is not clean music. What Vildava started, even when it might have still been Bashful Slasher, under the previous project name, like it was so much cleaner at its origins of electronic instruments when you started to include that stuff. This is bleak. This is fucking record it to tape and throw it in the ocean and then play it back, in a good way. This is great, man. I'm very happy to see this getting over the finish line, and honored you'd share it with us to start our evening off. Yeah, the people want more, and now we got to find you a place to release this shit, or in the very least, hire a publicist to get you some PR. Chaotic good. Let's start a bot network for Vildava. That's what we're gonna do. Starting comment wars, starting to discourse for William T. Davis, Vildava. Good stuff, my man. All right. Breathplay. You up? Minimal techno Charlie XCX cover. Still in production phase, so it's still quite blocky. Not entirely put together. Would like suggestions for addition and subtraction. Focus, version 1. Breathplay.
I just want you to focus. 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 Just focus. Just focus. Just focus. Just focus. Just focus. Just one touch leaves me helpless. On repeat like it's endless. Just one touch leaves me helpless. On repeat like it's endless. Just one touch leaves me helpless. On repeat like it's endless. Just one touch leaves me helpless. On repeat like it's endless. Just one touch leaves me helpless. On repeat like it's endless. Just one touch leaves me helpless. On repeat like it's endless. Just one touch leaves me helpless. On repeat like it's endless. Bedsheets turn to a white dress. Looks so good, damn, you did this, yeah. I just want you to focus. 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 I I just want you to focus, focus. I just want you to focus. I just want you to focus, focus. I just want you to focus on my love. Just focus, focus. I just want you to focus on my love. Just focus, focus. I just want you to focus on my love. Just focus, focus. I just want you to focus on my love. Just focus, focus. I just want you to focus on my love. Just focus, focus. I just want you to focus on my love. Just focus, focus. I just want you to focus on my love. Just focus, focus. I just want you to focus on my love. Just focus, focus.
All right. Very nice. Very nice. Refreshing to get a... This is true to form OG Breathplay before it was even Breathplay. The deeply deconstructed... I mean, I'm assuming the Charlie XCX was also a dancey track. I don't know the original. I don't know if it's got Four to the Floor or something like that. And it's at its origins, but I'm assuming it had some danceable elements to it. But more so like the cover being so stripped and minimal, and choice as to where the changes do occur for them to be like just right. So yes, the original is one of her tighter ones for sure. Does that mean more like poppier, like bigger ones? Because I mean, I know like earlier Charlie was way more like pop, not even like referential to club music at its origins. Way more, I don't know, less subversive. I don't know with this one, you tell me. But I'm a big fan of the three layers of instrumentals you basically got going on here. Drums, simple restrained bass, and then the lovely occasional pad. It wasn't a constant. It didn't really become prominent until about the second half or so. Saying this is from her peak hyperpop era. It's got hip hop rhythm, but it's very restrained and it can't get you out of my head kind of way. Interesting. Okay. But I'm assuming you're taking that restraint to a new level as far as how stripped and barren you have chosen to make this one. Because this is certainly not hyperpop. This is patient. It's not slowed down, but I mean like it is restrained. It is confined in a way that I think is really nice. You said, I made those pads with the Max for Live device that Kong burned. Paperclip minimizer, very nice. Dropped when he was featured on the Ableton mothership. That's right, he did just I did see that write up. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, shout outs to Paperclip minimizer. We love our experimental club producers / software developers who use their own tools, people making their own instruments to define their own voice, quite literally. Great developer and artist, Paperclip minimizer. But yeah, those pads are choice, man. And your choice of tonality, harmony as well, because your voice is rapping pretty much. And we have the bass that is monotonously sort of laying down like a singular sort of like counter bass to the kick, not really playing that big of a tonal center role, and then we have these like interesting modality of pads dropping in that's are seemingly like their own conversation, so it adds a little dimension of, I don't want to say dissonance, but like an uncanny, not atonality either, like a non-tonality, you know what I mean? Because it's just like these different sectors of sounds occurring simultaneously, but also like clearly informed only by themselves. There's nothing else uh, in that in the range of tonality that the pads come close to. So they're self-defined, and they're also not rhythmic, right? They're kind of just gliding in and out occasionally at their own pace, which is really nice. I do enjoy the patience of that. It's like that's the thing that's like holding us, not allowing this to expand beyond this like strict minimalism here. The bass line kind of shades into the relative minor when the pads are very much the major tonality that A.G. Cook used in the original. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, because I mean, I'm assuming there are other harmonic elements that in the original that really become abundantly clear what the tonal center is, what key we're in. This does not, so in many ways it's just like reflecting and using some of these elements from the origins, but not as an homage to those elements, but not allowing it to develop more harmonically, such as how the origin was. It's like good that it's having the desired reaction I wanted to contrast to create urgency. Yeah, no, it's uncanny is the word I'm using here, because it's just like, like we got barely any drums. Your voice is not doing anything melodic. Your bass is barely holding down tonality. It's much more of a rhythm section, like heavy on the drum side of the low end, and not developing tonally. You know what I mean? But in the case of your voice, the one thing that I would say is that like it still sounds distant. It doesn't sound like bricked to the front enough. Like this is the type of thing that I would expect, like this whisper delivery from you. It's not fully whisper, but close to it. To have like an ASMR proximity quality to it, like real up close. Like I hate to be like, let's get like seriously intimate in the sound of your breath, but like this is the Breathplay project. Yes, whisper in your ear POV. Exactly. You're not there yet. Limit it harder, more high end in the EQ. Like it sounds a little flat right now. Like really bring out that crispy voice memo-ness. Seriously, I think that would be like the one thing to change here, is just to like heighten the voice. You might even want to re-deliver it, record some elements of that, re-record some elements of that even quieter. You know what I mean? I would love, like, what with headphones on and like maxed out limiter proximity, presence. What can you do? It's a song about sex. Okay, there you go. Come on, get intimate. For real, the voice is what's doing it. Okay, cool. We got one more submission I'm going to add here. Good stuff. That would really be the one thing. It's just voice. Bring it out even further. Get extreme in the intimacy. All right. Good stuff. Okay. Who we got up next? Niranjan, I got you in there. You're going to be last today. Cool. Okay, Jesse. A remix of what I shared in Zoom yesterday, which will be my submission for the next monthly project. Based on feedback, I'm treating OP1 tracks as stems in the DAW rather than the OP1 mixdown. This is much better. I'm also not bothering working the OP1's reverb into the mix. I'm much more happy with my usual plugin. Interesting. Okay. Because yesterday you were talking about your affinity for the OP1 reverb. But, this is a start. More work to do. Reverb definitely needs some taming. Very cool. All right. Let us hear. Hold on. Moving this one down to the bottom. Walk Away. Draft 1 by Jesse. Let's go. All right. All right. Version 2 from Jesse. 2 days in a row. Double Fight Club, double trouble. Yeah, I mean, it definitely it's starting to get more reined in. It feels much more deliberate, a mix. I'm with you, as Andy said. The panning of the melodic synth in particular, the motion of that is really lovely. The addition of movement in the stereo image, while there is this sort of constant in the chords, sort of width to the chords. The squeaking, the chirping of the melody sort of finds its way in motion. Breathplay was asking if it's the same speed as it was last time, because now they're saying it feels a little rushed now. Jesse responds, it is the same speed, or should be. I had to reduce playback speed in the DAW by 18% to hit the correct pitch and speed to match the OP1. Interesting. So you can't just export, or is that a sample rate thing as to reducing the speed? Because if you're just exporting wave files, you shouldn't have to change playback speed. I'm not sure. We got to do a blind comparison, taste test of of yesterday's draft versus today. Personally, I don't mind the tempo. My one thing is just the the delay on the chords. Maybe if this is a speed thing, the delay on the chords can be a little busy, like ba 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 ba. I want there to be changes now in the time-based effects, not so much the verb. You're working on that, but the delays, both to give me less delay in the chords to start. I would love for there to be just a bit more dryness, and then or start with more delay and shift between wet and dry mix of that. But also the chirping, the lead synth, like that could take on doubles, triples in the in a sort of in a delay. And I'm talking about a like very digital sounding digital delay, short term ping pong, bing 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 bing, not the entire time, towards the end, to expand rhythmically on the phrase that's being said in the melody, by to create like bang bang boom like triplet delays, 16th note delays, tight slapbacks, things like that. We could find a way to expand rhythmically what's happening without changing melodically what's happening. You know what I mean? Like the usage of time-based delay on these sort of like tight staccato sounds is you're going to end up with twice as much rhythmic material happening, or 3 times depending on how much feedback you have to the delay. I would love for you to experiment with that. You're saying, unfortunately, the delay you mentioned is baked into the stems. The delay on the chords, I'm talking about an addition. Okay, if it's on the chords, then okay, we'll deal with that as a separate topic. But I'm talking about the addition of a digital delay timed into the tempo, and divisions of the tempo on the melody as a sort of like icing on the cake in the last third of the piece to sort of expand to that point or something. That's what I was talking about here. I think that would be a nice addition in the melody there. Now, as far as like how to potentially unmuddy the bass, I mean, like, let's get attenuated with some filters on the mix itself. You know what I mean? Like, we can certainly scoop, could do like a notch filter or a bandpass filter and find ways of moving resonance across so that it's not solely in the low end all the time. You know what I mean? Maybe that is where like I'm talking about the muddiness, because when it gets to its loudest and fullest, like it is constantly like do 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 down there. Might be interesting to like change frequencies, frequency bands or emphasis on frequencies of the mix as the piece progresses, you know? Like we could filter up and back down. We could create a sort of trajectory of a filter sweep throughout the piece, you know, so that it's not just staying in one filter or EQ setting the entire time, you know? These things can change even subtly. I think it would be nice to like to fuck with some filter resonance there, you know, to like really create some higher cues. Yeah, you know, combination of developing the frequencies more on the chords and then, you know, getting creative with a digital delay in post, like in the DAW, what you're working with, you know. Would you write? I do want to add a subdued bass line with similar feel to the Cubist Camouflage by Werco S. Curious about the what you could do. Yeah, so Niranjan saying, agree with the filter point completely. There's a bit of harshness caused by the low mids. Yeah, it's just a little bit muddy. It's a little busy down there because it's just like fat chords in one region, you know? So let's find a way to dither that out a little bit, you know? And then thinking about with a bass line as an even another edition of this, you know what I mean? Be nice to have some long tone in this. I'm talking just simple, something signy, something real sub heavy, boom, 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 you know, like something really to fill the air, you know, because everything is also rhythmic and tight and staccato. You know what I mean? We let the delay do the sustain. If you're going to add a bass, it should be simple and long tone and sustained as a contrast to the short tone instruments that we got. You know what I mean? Those are my thoughts. Looking forward to the next draft. This is a nice challenge. This is a nice challenge for you, Jesse. Like I said last time, it's like the most melody and chord progressions we've heard from you. You know what I mean? Some good stuff. All right. We got a track from Andy. Andy writes a new mix of a song I've shown before, now with cello from a buddy. Okie dokie. Heart of the Sea from Andy. Let's go.
Close my eyes to dream of the roads that stretch to the sea. So my suitcase awoke me. Is this what freedom brings? I made up my mind 1,000 times, always too scared, never know why. We'll look for the moon, but the birds will come back to life. 'Cause tonight, no headlines, just headlights flaming like yellow. I know what we'll do, we'll look for the moon, but the birds will know I won't avoid you. Of The years they pass as quickly as the rules change. The fences grow, but the cypress climbs. It dances in the breeze as if to spy. Then a storm of memories caught me in the heart of a fire. I tried to shake my head, but in the air his mother's wave was unaware. Now what we'll do, we'll look for the moon, load up the place, she'll come back to life. 'Cause tonight, no headlines, just headlights beaming like you. I know what we'll do, we'll look for the moon, load up the place, she'll know I want your eyes when you ask me, would anyone believe we hear a love story in the heart of the
Beautiful. Lovely work. Lovely work. And, you know, topical, important protest music, you know. Andy working on a whole record of politically charged work songs, as the title of the album is called. Work song, not politically charged work songs. Lovely addition of the strings here. This is an eclectic collection of songs for those that have heard other tracks from Andy. This one is some of the most orchestrated, and I don't mean just because you're using strings it's orchestrated, but I mean like the arrangement is dense, you know, very dynamic moments happening here, and very quiets moving into just like bombastic you know, drops of like timpani level sort of percussion here. That's really, really lovely. And the combination of sound design and acoustic instruments, you know, blending really nicely together in the mix. The instrumentals are really coming to a head here. It's really holding it down here, because of these changes, because of the dynamism and changes in arrangement throughout. So the voice, we gotta find a way to match that. It could be as simple as when these moments get big, we have to ride levels of the voice more. Like, I think a little bit of restraint at the quieter moments is quite nice, you know, like there's a distance to your voice at some of the quieter moments that like really paints this, it's intimate, but not in the ASMR pillow in your ear talk of Breathplay, but like, you know, a bit more like in the room candidly with someone, which is really nice, you know, and especially, you know, at the end, it's beautiful. But these big like da 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 da, like these are words that you're saying that we got to understand first and foremost. All the lyricism, like that's got to come through crystal clear. And at these bigger dynamic moments instrumentally, the voice still kind of feels a little stagnant in the mix. Like it's not rising to the occasion dynamically, you know? So in the very least, like you gotta bring that shit up when the dynamics go up in the voice. And if you're already doing that, then it's gotta be even more prominent, you know? Like we really need you to be the lead singer at those moments to really hold us down. It can't just be a melodic tool. It's got to be like the lead actor in the film. We need to know the lines you're saying. We need to like be there, right there with you emotionally at its loudest point. And that's like the classic sort of subliminal art of mix, especially in pop music, is riding the levels for like the epic moments. Like sometimes it's just like make that shit 6 decibels louder right when that final chorus drops, and it's like, oh, like it just hits. It's cool to let it be louder at that point, you know what I mean? So that needs a bit more attenuation just on the levels of that goes. Now, like what else can we do with voice here? I mean, like I don't want to say like ad-libbing, but like some sort of auxiliary vocal takes, maybe potentially harmonies, but more so the like talk about drama. Like it would be nice to have like a voice that's like behind your lead voice, that's just like kind of straining the vocals. Like it's like, this is like the sloppy take. This is me just kind of just gut-wrenchingly, almost like mostly screaming the lyrics. It'd be nice to have that edge behind you, like it's like your subconscious coming through very gently behind the real lead vocal take, you know what I mean? Like you just gotta you gotta have the listener has to believe you here. The listener has to be fully emotionally invested in what you're putting down, because like we gotta take this shit seriously, you know what I mean? And I know that you know this. This is a mix arrangement art, less so a compositional thing, because lyrically and compositionally, melodically, like you're there, and instrumentally, like the instruments are that you're really rising to the occasion as far as like developing that fucking drama, you know what I mean? So like the voice, like we gotta find a way to get there, you know what I'm saying? I know you got it in you. I mean, this is like, there are other songs on the record that like we could take less seriously, like are more fun, less dramatic, you know what I mean? Like this, although it's fun, but like this is dramatic. Like this is like we should feel emotional. This ain't emo music. This is emotional music. You know what I mean? So we got to believe it. You got to do your part in post-production to like bring us to that moment. In the levels and how you arrange these things. You're saying, ooh, yes, part of me wants to add both like a beautiful choir-esque harmony, but also haven't thought about adding something dirty. Yeah, I mean, the latter, dirty lead to vocals, like I think just auxiliary, like behind it would be really nice. But yeah, dude, build out the fucking harmonies. Like try out some ideas as to like what a soprano, alto, tenor, and bass would sound like arrangement, you know, like especially in those final choruses, you know, in the real big moments towards the end. Like that's how you know, it don't need to be overthought here. Like bigger sounds here help drive home messaging when we're trying to tap in emotionally here. You know, we're not necessarily supposed to be, it's not necessarily meant to be just a think piece that's like unapproachable. Like this, you gotta be a populist. You're trying to like meet the people where they're at with very human emotions, you know, telegraph that shit, you know. You don't have to be subtle, especially towards the end, you know. Big finish, get climactic, you know. In the voice, that's where it is. That's the secret sauce right there. All right. Looking forward to more from you. We getting so close with that record, dude. All right, playing us out. We got our new friend Niranjan coming in. Did they write us in the chat? Hope this isn't too late. It's not too late. Always early morning when you stream. Oh, hell yeah. Other side of the world. Love it. I'd love to hear what I could do to push the mix into a higher level of quality. The thing I'm struggling with the most is I don't have a great single point of reference for the mix, so it's tough to tell how to improve it blindly. Okay, well, let's find yourself a point of reference. Okay. Clarion by Niranjan. Let's go. Yeah. Very nice. Coming in hot. Bold. Bold choice, you know, and a man after my own heart. Starting and ending with the field recordings of rain pattering on a roof. Lovely, you know, and Niranjan, you'll come to learn this about me, but we talk about visual music. We talk about, you know, visualizing and grounding where our music takes place. And obviously the usage of field recordings can very much quite literally do that. You know, this is dropping me in to a city in the rain, you know. And I'm curious, you know, to know your background and interests here, because this is, you know, giving me a very much cinematic, if not directly influenced by a few different sort of contemporary film score approaches here. You know, the usage of the impact noises and, you know, dynamism within a 5-minute range, like covering a lot of ground between like very restrained moments and then like fucking smack you in the face with a swooping kick, you know, towards the very end here. I think if I don't know who's in your ear, as far as compositional, influence goes. I mean, to me, I think a great point of reference here, I'm sure you're familiar with the work of Ben Frost, who is, you know, both composer and producer and engineer, for both, you know, records and film. Very much a filmmaker who has to do the music for Mental Peace. Very nice. Okay, so you're an auteur, a true auteur. Well, definitely the Ben Frost route is great because you're already there compositionally here. You know what I mean? Like we're not going full synthwave. You know, we're making some references to a more neoclassical, minimalist approach, like the usage of your strings here, but then the sort of whirring of buzzing melodies here, you know. It's very Frostian. But what makes Ben Frost a true to form engineer is his attention to saturation in the mix, you know. Like this has some dirty moments, but it's not dynamically like, I don't think it should. I think it could still be quiet, but it shouldn't be clean. Like so many of these sounds that you got going on right now sound edgy from a synthesized wave shaping perspective, and some of the you know, the built-in sort of plugins of modeling, you know, physical modeling synths that can create some really unique timbres. But the last thing that this really needs is just for it to be pushing air, as I'm saying, you know, like to give off the emulation of it being, you're utilizing like analog gear, such as an analog preamp or compressor or something that is creating a tasteful layer of, you know, not like audible fuzz distortion saturation, but like where there was once a sine wave, there is now a slightly jagged, imperfect, heavily saturated, gain staged sort of waveform, you know. And so I reckon that this doesn't need cleanliness, you know. Even at its moments of quiet, we could gain stage, we could saturate, we could turn these smoother, cleaner sounds into slightly dirtier, you know. That'd be the one thing, is like taking us out of what sounds more like the presets of the synthesizers, you know. Like it sounds like some factory settings to the mix or the channels themselves, you know. And like a great way to just get out of that, to take us one step further, is to utilize plugins that could create a more saturated tone, you know what I mean. I'm not sponsored by them, but I would absolutely recommend everybody get the Universal Audio free plugins that they got, the UAD free plugins. Like they got this free channel strip plugin that has like a built-in limiter, EQ, compressor, and gate, that are all like based on emulating their analog circuitry, that just sounds fucking fantastic, and it's free, and just worthwhile to mess around with that, because I don't expect anybody to just be able to access amazing analog hardware, but like that's what the plugins are really for. It's not just about creating futuristic sound design, but I think it's also about keeping it true to the engineer's perspective. And then a mix engineer, their only job is to find ways to creatively saturate. You know what I mean? So like, let's find a way to take this out of the box a little bit, you know, even if you're mixing it in the box, but the expression in the box means like normally like relating to like the factory settings of our plugins and the mix itself, you know? So like finding more dirt, grit, just finding a way to take it out of the purely synthesized tone, I think is the move here. Listen to Ben Frost if you haven't. A great example of a composer that has ended up doing a lot of films and working in synthesis primarily. You know, some really good stuff from him. Saying, I get exactly what you mean. The final mix bus emulation needs a bit more dirt. Not just the final mix, but like, I mean, like not just the master, but like the individual channels too. You can find ways to saturate them. Not just thinking the final stages, but like from the jump, from the get go, like mess around with playing a mono, like a bass synth with some fat saturation, a whole lot of like, you know, emulated gain stage that sound like it's coming through like a fucking rack mount of amps. You know what I mean? Like that shit, I am way more interested than just like wave shaping through filtering and you know, like basic waveforms. It's that secret sauce is saturating pure waveforms to make them less pure, you know, a little more out of the box, a little bit more like we're hearing them pushing air. This is about the air circuitry. You know what I mean? I don't mean to get esoteric with it, but that's what it is. Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. Thank you for your time and feedback. We'll be diving into Ben's work. Yeah, absolutely. Check out Ben Frost. Check out my homie Randall Dunn. Check out his score that he did with what's it called? Fucking R.I.P. Johan Johansson, the Mandy soundtrack, you know? Friend of mine, Randall Dunn, fantastic engineer. He carried so much of that score, and it's so much of it is also related to the mix of how just fucking fat it is. You know what I mean? He's done a bunch of scores, but that's like is probably one of his most famous ones. Yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff out there of contemporary film score composers that are like experimenting in ways that you'd expect on a more avant-garde record, but it's becoming that much more common. At least in that sort of A24 mainstream indie sphere happening where people are got the budget to experiment, you know. Good stuff. Thanks for submitting, Niranjan. You know, happy to have you. Really looking forward to hearing more. Lovely stuff. Yeah, you gotta go watch Mandy and listen to the soundtrack of Mandy. But yeah, Randall Dunn, producer, engineer, co-composer of that score, and many others. Cool. Awesome stuff from everybody today. Just a reminder, we will not be meeting this coming Sunday. I'm gonna be so fucking burnt out with this live Cistern festival we're doing on Saturday that I'm gonna need the afternoon to recoup, but we'll be back a week from today, Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the YouTubes. If you loved doing this, you like listening to this stuff, and you want to support, patreon.com/parrotsky. Also taking on private instruction inquiries right now at parrotsky.xyz. And shout outs once again to our presenters, our sponsors, holding us down, Tape Trade. Once again, thank you so much for the support. Be on the lookout for some new stuff. And thank you all for submitting some wonderful music. I will see you very soon, in a week, exactly. Have a wonderful week. Stay safe. Stay hydrated. Keep making music. Keep listening. Be human. Be social. Music is social, so be social. All right? I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to another edition of Group Critique Fight Club with me, Max Alper, aka Parrotsky. You can sign up for the Patreon at patreon.com/Parrotsky to get access to our Sunday Zoom school on top of the regular live public stream. Public stream takes place every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. All are welcome. And you are listening to the track Atop Alpdog Mountain, Ja plays Pokemon Go by me.